You ever get that feeling that in our modern world, with all this data and just noise, we've kind of lost touch with something deeper? Well, today, we're going to dive into this idea that ancient, powerful wisdom isn't actually gone. It's just been waiting. And we're going to look at one person our source material calls a modern bridge to that very knowledge. I mean, it's a real paradox, isn't it? We're practically drowning in information. We've got more data at our fingertips than any other time in history, like a constant fire hose. But has all that data actually pushed us further away from real, profound wisdom? It's a heck of a question to think about. So here's the thing. According to the source material we're looking at today, that wisdom was never really lost. It puts forward this fascinating idea that all this essential knowledge is carefully preserved, kind of like it's in a cosmic library, just waiting for the right people to come along and find the key. All right, so let's get into it. What is this preserved knowledge? We're going to start by exploring this idea of a powerful wisdom that's basically been hidden in plain sight all along. This quote from the source, wow, it just captures the whole idea so perfectly. It flips the script, right? Wisdom isn't some fragile thing that can just disappear. It's more like a permanent collection in this cosmic library. The books are always on the shelf. The real trick is finding someone who's got the library card. Okay, so if this library of wisdom is real, how in the world did it survive? I mean, we're talking thousands of years of wars, empires rising and falling, just massive change. Well, this brings us to a really cool concept the source calls the unbroken golden thread. And yeah, this is where things get really interesting. See, the source defines this lineage as way more than just a historical list of who taught who. It's described as a continuous flow of spiritual energy, a living, breathing, energetic transmission that's kept the teachings pure and potent for centuries. And when you look at how it was preserved, it's just genius, really. It wasn't just written down in books that could be burned or lost. Nope. It was encoded in oral traditions, like poems and chants. It was hidden in the universal language of symbols and sacred geometry in art and architecture. And, this is the big one, it was passed on directly, energetically, from teacher to student. So if there's one thing to take away from this part, it's this. We are not talking about dusty old scrolls in a museum. The source is crystal clear that this lineage is a living, dynamic force. It's an active current of energy and knowledge that is flowing right here, right now. So that's the big question, right? If this ancient current is still flowing today, who's actually tapping into it? Well, that brings us to the central figure in our source material, the person who's described as the bridge between that ancient wisdom and our world today. That person, our source tells us, is Gudni. And the way he's described is really key. He's not just some scholar who studies this lineage from a distance. He's called a living conduit, someone who is a direct, active link in that ancient chain of transmission. So what's his unique contribution here? Well, according to the source, it all comes down to his ability to translate these really deep, esoteric ideas for people like you and me. He's apparently created a structured path that makes it all accessible, but, and this is important, without watering it down. The whole focus is on empowering you to find your own inner teacher. And he even brings in modern science to connect with these ancient ideas, making it all super relevant for today. Okay, and the source makes a really important distinction that we need to talk about. It's basically a heads up to be discerning, to know the difference between a school with a real, verifiable ancient lineage and other groups that just kind of slap these terms on as a marketing brand. The key difference, it argues, always comes back to that authentic, energetic connection. All right, so this is all fascinating, but I know what you're thinking. What does it actually do? How does any of this stuff apply to my everyday life? Let's get into the practical side of things, the blueprint for you. This is exactly where the mystical stuff meets the real world. So take universal Kabbalah. It's not just some abstract theory. It's presented as a cosmic map for your life, helping you understand your purpose and why you're going through what you're going through. Or look at the healing modalities, like the King Solomon series. They're described as ways to get to the root cause of an imbalance, instead of just chasing symptoms. Ultimately, the goal of all these tools is to get you real, tangible results, like more inner peace, better focus, and just a stronger sense of who you are. So really, the whole point here is that this isn't about checking out of the modern world. It's about getting a complete toolkit to help you navigate and actually thrive in it. It's about building that bridge between your deepest spiritual self and your day-to-day reality.
So, where do we go from here? Well, the source suggests that the next step on this kind of journey, it's always going to be a personal one. And this final quote, man, it just gets right to the heart of everything. The goal here isn't to just passively learn about something. It's about an active, transformative process. It's about waking up the power and potential that, according to this source, is already inside every single one of us.
And so we're going to end by leaving you with a question. Whether you're all in on the idea of ancient lineages or not, the core message here is really about self-discovery and empowerment. So what would it look like for you to explore your own inner world a little more deeply? What new paths could open up on your journey? It's a powerful thought to sit with. Thanks so much for joining us.